out. We go into a game number 3 on Inferno. And look who's back. Oh, wait, the other side. We're back again. We already have Roy back on the mic. Roy, we did see BHOP Esports take the first one, but then later on, Sojoga was able to close out game number 2. Now into a game 3 situation in which the decider will be Inferno.
That's right. We're going straight into Inferno. And, of course, I think BHOP really wanted to close things out in that 2-0 fashion, but didn't manage to amount to that comeback. I mean, after that tactical pause, really, it was all the way of Sojoga. And it was amazing the way that they were just able to buckle up and clutch things out. They were looking to, like, I don't want to say choke it, but really let it go, or really let things slip through their fingers. But we know them. They are willing to fight through and through. We do have, of course, some replays from what we've already seen of this, which has been an amazing path from both teams. Finally, we have esports managing to deliver the first defeat as far as maps go for Sojoga. And on the other side, of course, BHOP, even though they've been without defeat, at the very least, as far as complete matches go throughout all of the playoffs, they're facing their biggest rival yet. And of course, there's a bit of a storied rivalry here, as they've traded matches back and forth. Last time it was the Brazilian team that did get the better of BHOP Esports. But the last time that, as we are about to see, both these guys headed into Inferno, it was actually BHOP who came out on top. So not to be underestimated the prowess that these guys have. They made that by 4-round differential, which means 16 to 12 rounds that they did get. And it seems like we are all ready and good to go. So let's jump right into it. What is gonna be the last map of this first online series for the CCT? BHOP Esports versus Sojoga. And, of course, we wouldn't have it any other way. Winner takes it all.
And I do want to mention a little bit of a history, right, that they had. We are going straight into a knife fight, so you know how that's going to turn out. This is to see who is going to play CT or T first. And but before, okay, it seems like BHOP is going to choose what side they want to play, and of course they're going to pick the T side naturally. Who doesn't want to pick the T side, of course? But last time we had already seen BHOP Esports and Sojoga play as well, and not within the CCTNA, but within another league. And Sojoga was able to win 2-0. And they were able to win on Dust 2 as well with a 19-16. So that last map was already a bit of adaptation coming from BHOP Esports. And now we are going into Inferno. People tend to say that this is a CT-sided meta, but if there's any sort of a side that I do see has a bit more of problems right here is coming from BHOP Esports is within Inferno, right? Because Inferno is one of those maps that you really have to weigh in what the good choices are, because yep, exactly like that, the moment that you are caught slacking or lacking, I would dare say, you will be gunned down.
Talking about getting gunned down, Mouth delivering some pain right there. Landing try to follow suit, but not going to be able to do so. Silas still surviving, getting a couple of frags for himself. But will he amount to much? That is the question. And quickly an answer from PRT with a resounding no, as Sojoga take the first round. And quite an important one. Of course, we've said it time and time again. And the thing is that we've seen Sojoga play ahead most of the time. Whenever they're not, their catch-up game is really quick. Like, it really felt a bit out of character over there in Dust 2, the way that they were struggling, dare I say, to close things out. But nonetheless, they managed to do so. So, even in spite of BHOP's earlier disadvantage, let's see what they can amount to. As Sojoga, of course, has the task to deliver that bomb on they're just trying to see where things go. Brad gonna fall first. Rest of the forces of BHOP Esports still in no prime position to stop anybody. except for Swan, maybe. However, he is gonna get chased away. Silas does get a fragment boiler, though, so Tedison gonna have to take care of that. However, the bomb is already down, Dio.
Bomb is down, clock is ticking, and we do see that the BHOP Esports does not have the same amount of members on this side, and it seems like they are opting to save, as they do have some weapons, especially right there, the best one being the Galil. On the other side, we see Swan with the mag. I am personally a huge fan of the mag, and they're not really going. Yeah, I am a huge fan of shotguns, bro. Yeah, I am a huge fan of shotguns. I don't know what they do to me, bro. They just make me go, oh, yep, there we go. Thank you. Swan delivering once again, bro. I thank you very much. He was able to get 2 right there and get a good amount of money as well. So now he did pick up the Galil, and he did have the Deagle beforehand. So now he will be able to supply his team with weapons, as he does buy rifle right there. But, yep, right here we did see a good display coming from Sojoga on this side, especially because they did win the first round, so the firepower was on their side. But let's see, now that BHOP Esports has at least some money to buy some things right there, this will help, but doesn't seem to be the case, as Tadazin is able to take Eris, but the trade from Swan with the HE is very, very important.
Super important right there, of course. Still Brett trying to cover for mid. As anybody tries to make the cross. Doesn't look like it just yet, though. Sojoga taking their sweet time. They got chased out of banana, and they weren't willing to push out just yet. Not trying to regress anytime soon. Beaky gonna be left alone to try and sniff anybody out coming towards B, which very likely will be the case right here. As slowly but surely, Sojoga are taking up all the space that BHOP gave up. The call will come soon, though, so I think the rest of BHOP will soon be making their way. He didn't try to, but look at this. Just not willing to commit just yet. Some shots are going to be fired, but amounting to nothing just yet. Taking a second to reassess the situation. And playing it slow, of course. The clock continues to tick. And that heavily favors BHOP Esports.
We do see that the person on deck is precisely Beaky, and he's able to take at least one of them down with the mag. But the immediate retaliation from Mouth right there just simply going down, and the bomb is planted. This is a 3v3, but BHOP Esports does have one team member who is on the verge of death on the other side, and that is Swan. So Landon taking a bit of a more aggressive positioning. He does get flashed, but not punished off of it. On the other side, we do see DZT take down Brett, and that's their sign to scram, as they do not want to partake in any sort of undernumbered brawl, and that's where they go down. But Landon has to take a run for it right now, because that explosion, my friend, hurts, and it hits like a truck. And at this, I've seen players from even farther away get taken down. But that was the more of a recent buff precisely, and that's why you see them just all the way on the CT spawn, and they are able to take the 3rd round for themselves. Sojoga on a roll right now.
Definitely so at this point. Let's see if they can keep BHOP on the blender, or if the answer comes right away. I mean, so far this series has been very back and forth. There's a reason why both of these teams have found themselves in the finals, putting one another to the test right here. Bit on the heavier side of equipment, of course, is going to be here for Sojoga. Landing, sporting that up as he always has. That man was absolutely fragging out during last map. I mean, he went, I think, 20 plus to end it all. And it's not like he was even carrying his team or anything like that. It's just the precision goes to show just how big of a job he can do. DCT will try to make his way through, of course. Take a look. Both Brett and Swan are waiting on the other side. Trying to catch anybody to come through in A. But by the time being, of course, still on lockdown here for BHOP.
Nobody is on the other side. It's just one member, and that is Silas, who is very, very well positioned in case somebody... He's just peeking over to see if there's anybody overcoming to B. But it is very heavily stacked on this side, and it's able to see that Brett and Ares are able to get at least one of them down. Brett is just doubling up right there on the kills. And we do see Swan, simply a bit of contention shots. You know what? You want to come in, you got to back off, my friend, right here. And it seems like at this point, they're going to try to get to the other sides, maybe, possibly. But no, at this point, they're not going to make it there on time. So they just rather retreat, see if they can catch anybody with some exit frags or anything like that. And we do see, just somebody right there. Not quite the case, and just baiting out right there. And maybe he gets the op for himself. Not quite so.
Not quite indeed, but huge from BHOP to stop the bleeding. The charge from Sojoga took a little bit too long to get anything going, and it was completely shut down there. The boys in blue at this point. Finally bouncing back. Brad, a bit of a slow start at the beginning. And even still just 2 kills to his name, however. Before that, he was at a big fat 0, so breaking through and just being of much more help to his team. A couple of nice frags. Could be all the difference that they really need. Of course, the deagle here for DCT, so perhaps not the wisest to try and push right here. Same type of setup that they are trying to go for. And the cross, of course, is still going to be covered. Both Brad and Beaky are the sentries over there. Going to be a watchful eye if anybody tries to make their way through mid. Same effective defense so far, so BHOP are going to have the upper hand just yet. And, of course, Brad going to open up against Addison.
Right then, we do see the flash coming through. Not quite able to take Mount down. And that's exactly what's needed on this behalf. But DCT is able to see Beaky right there trying to get a bit of a height pick. And not quite the case. He throws out the deagle and says, hey, I think you should be a bit more effective with this. Just give me the AK. And we do see PRT take a better offensive positioning. But on the other side, we see at least 2 team members coming from both sand and construction. So let's see if there's anything that they can do with that. The flash goes off, not quite flashing. I'm not quite getting anybody. You do see at least 1, 2. Landon is able to take 2. That's impressive. That's very, very good. And on the other side, it seems like the immaculate defense, once they were planted coming from Sojoga, does do the trick. And BHOP Esports had to play the retake. Didn't work out for them in their favor. And now BHOP Esports, you said before, they stopped the bleeding, but now it seems like Sojoga is working to get it reopened.
For sure, denying that retake in spades, really. Sojoga still firmly in control of Inferno so far. Their tier rounds. Notice the devastating damage that has been done. A bit of a sprayer right there, but doesn't get anybody. Harris and Swan running away with their lives still. However, no place safe here. Of course, Control A still seems to be on lockdown. And Banana as well. But nobody pushed up. The way that Sojoga have been playing this, a bit more towards ramp and mid. So, really, the way that they've taken this slow, bit more methodical push, and then going in guns blazing when they need to the most. Them hitting their shots could be crucial, but talking about hitting shots, Swan hits just 1 onto Mouth, even though he was blinded. Bullet was guided by a different kind of power.
Rightfully so, and now we see Beaky trying to catch anybody that may be off guard right here, but not quite doing so. Now on the other side, just Brett holding that area near Truck, who has been that area in general has been really lethal, bro. It's been like
Yeah.
really lethal in regards to like
Oh,
the people that get hit by it right there. Yes, Brett just getting the double impressive stuff overall. And now it's a Tadazin holding an angle, just himself and well, just alone against the world right there. And the bomb is already there within a Truck side. So difficult situation for him. Not gonna say impossible at all, but he's just gonna sit that out. You know, just say, you know what, let's GG go next, and Sojoga GG losing that round at least for the moment.
Yeah, it's like getting benched right there. Tedison got to choose to see that one out. Of course, not to be blamed. Better to play his life at that point. So BHOP, still, things are not out of control. They have not gotten out of hand for them. So Sojoga with the constant pressure, though. Let's see if they give BHOP yet another reminder of why they are currently in the lead. Even with their eco rounds, they've been super effective, but not whenever Swan is absolutely destroying right there. Silas gonna make sure that nobody crosses through from Banana. Bit of a retreat right there, but the damage has already been done. DCT and Tadison cease to exist for this round. And of course, even if the rest of the offense is still committed to that type of push, they were going to need some more of that as Mouth is trying to lead that charge. Versus Joga need to come in clean right here if they want to get this take.
Let's see what they have to do as PRT plants
Ooh.
the bomb. They are able to get at least the bomb planted, which is very, very important for them now. They have some money assured within if whether they win it or they lose it. But on the other side, we do see that Swan just simply takes them off, and PRT on the other side, not expecting another one of the team members from BHOP Esports to be coming from the same area as he just took one of them down. So a little bit of an element of surprise. He did have a lot of air fronts to cover. So at this point, you can't win them all, as we do say. And now BHOP Esports one away from tying things up. Very important stuff overall. If I do have to say, Roy, that the chicken. If I do have to say anything, let's look at him. He's adorable. It's just that these chickens they have like a really funny face for it. I can't just help but laugh whenever I see them. But what's no laughing matter is that Sojoga had a bit of an advantage, and slowly but surely, BHOP Esports is starting to get a little bit more within the area of not being as comfortable with the lead.
Of course, here, quickly making it through. Gonna bite the bullet right there and landing. Will get himself through the fire.
Oh,
of course, while being effective, landing will be rewarded with his gutsy play by taking a frag. However, problems still arise as both Maud and DCT have falling now numbers. And of course, like the firepower is still in the side of BHOP. Look at landing. Look at landing go. Oh, he pokes out at the wrong time, of course. And no dice for him at that point. So even though there's still like Deagles could cause in some hurt, and they do have bomb in hand, I don't know if that is going to amount to absolutely anything this time around. Ares looking through pit, just so diligent in choosing that angle. So diligent in watching both, of course, as they might come to the partners or anything like that. But at this point, yeah, less than, well, a little over 20 seconds.
Oh,
okay, nice. Beaky kisses around goodbye. A bit of a late exit. Sojoga, well, they're trying to get as much as they can before bowing out.
Bro, the patience pays off
Oh.
excellently right there. Just impressive stuff overall coming from BHOP Esports. The
Yeah.
ones that say, you know what, yeah, I'm just gonna stay here in case they want to do something funny over there, and just Silas sitting primed and waiting for everything. Is just one. I know for a fact that Silas is just like, yeah, I expected that to happen because it's something that it's just something so satisfying whenever you're like, I'm just gonna stay here just in case, and that just in case happens. So very well played by him, sitting patiently with the patience being rewarded firmly with the round win in their favor, and now BHOP Esports tying things up. Roy, what do you think will be the X factor within this situation for either of the teams now that they're tied up? Do you think maybe it'll be like money management or just simply raw unbridled skill?
I don't know. It's always like a bit of a combination of both, right? Like both of
Yeah.
these teams have already shown that they can really step up to the plate, hit their shots. Like at this level of play, of course, you are expecting them, perhaps not to shoot lasers every single time. However, like yeah, to be hitting those shots consistently. I think Sojoga have been a bit superior through a couple of situations in that regard. Nonetheless, though, I mean, let's see if they can make the most out of this util to try and break through. That A defense on the side of BHOP has been a tough nut to crack for them. And what are the main reasons why? Well, Sojoga, even though they had such a strong start, okay, not waiting for the second one as he knows he has the coverage. Beaky putting in the hurt 3 for him so far before falling down. Landing dust bench. A couple of his fallen comrades. Oh, look at that. Some extra shots as well. Those confidence shots, let's call him, as BHOP Esports steal the lead away from Sojoga.
Yep, and very good stuff. They have won 5 rounds consistently throughout. If I recall correctly, the last 4 have been consecutively. And even though Sojoga has been having a bit more of a had a head start, right? The more that BHOP Esports started to get things rolling, the more that they started to get closer to that lead that Sojoga had, eventually overpassing them. And now the fact that we're seeing Nico coming from Sojoga, now I think that what we're going to see is just a bit of a rush situation. Not necessarily like rush, like guns blazing and just shooting everywhere. But I think that we will see a bit more of an aggressive approach right there if Swan has anything to say about it. And he does, shooting down PRT with the op shot and says, where do you guys think you're going? You think you have sight? Just take it for granted? No, senor, no, senor.
Looks at the mirror. You're trying to talk to me? You talking to me? Yeah, definitely so. And here, of course, he's gonna try to hold down the pit and get himself some of that sweet damage as well. Landing yet again the last remaining player here for Sojoga. But that didn't last long. Now BHOP charging further into the lead, of course, is still not an incredibly comfortable one for them. And we don't expect that to be the case for the lead to be kept just like that. Barring some, I would say, uncharacteristic plays from Sojoga, even if they're forced into a couple of saves, we've seen him bounce back consistently. So, yeah, this is the time where they're ready to do so. Like, bit of pauses. They've been very effective for Sojoga as well. So, in that regard, they've shown how taking just that bit of extra time. And please don't look at the chicken, Dio. I know you're gonna laugh, but take that bit of extra time.
Bro, you shouldn't have said anything. You shouldn't
really
have said anything.
This series match, bro, is grand finals, of course, and Sojoga taking that bit extra time that I was talking about to really recompose themselves, perhaps talk some shop, and amount to something. So far, every time after they do take a bit of a break, they have brought things back like swimmingly, like in a very swift fashion. So I'm expecting them to perhaps, even if they don't come out of the gate swinging just yet, to hitting those shots perfectly. However, I mean, BHOP still had the lead for a reason.
Yep, and you see banana control is ever as important, and we see Beaky right there shooting through the smoke with the mind's eye, being able to take Tadazin down, who isn't within the best situation for his team, as we do see that he is 1 in 9. Unfortunate things all around for him, and the fact that he went down, just rough stuff as we're seeing here. The smoke goes off, and Swan is sitting right within it. Seems like you saw a little bit of an elbow, but not quite hitting the shot. Moth is trying to get back onto site. Gets at least one, but does not expect Beaky sitting on top right there with a vertical advantage. However, DCT and Landon both hit their shots, and now site is free for them to plant. They're just simply clearing everything out, making sure that is the case. And Brett is able to take down DCT, but not able to stop the planter. The bomb goes down. Clock is ticking after the numbers have been punched in. Now we have to see exactly what this team has to say, but the molly aims true, and now PRT goes down.
Gonna go down, and perhaps this time around, just taking a bit of extra time, not gonna work for Sojoga, as BHOP continue to be decisive throughout the entirety of this first half. Of course, no more maps after this. It might take a couple of overtimes even, but this is it. This is the end of the line, and BHOP Esports are looking to soar ahead, really take off. If they amount to anything, I mean, taking advantage of their last CT rounds really held them down the line, of course. Easier said than done at this point. Silas gonna go straight into trying to push them. At this point, Sojoga are waiting for that. Every single time, both Tedison and Mouth, well, even though he did manage to get Silas, it almost costed him his life. So even though numbers are even, I mean, the fact that damage has been done could really come in handy here for BHOP, as they really hold on to this defense and made the most of it.
Yep, and now on the other side, we do see DCT. Just the member of the team from Sojoga that has been lit quite a lot is the Opera, at least for the moment, Moth right here. So we do see that Ares is still on site, even though he is smoked up. But Brett is actually, it's Swan the one who's able to take at least 2 of them down within this situation. But Landon just holding everything off with the double and making this a 2v2. But one bullet will put any of them down. And now, yep, that's exactly what we're seeing. It's Moth the one that is forced to play. Yep, play ever so defensively, and in such an awkward situation as well. Doesn't work out for him in his favor. Now BHOP Esports with the double of rounds that Sojoga has. However, Sojoga seems to be understanding ever so slightly what they have to do within this T side, and you know for a fact that Inferno, a lot of people tend to say that this map is a bit CT-sided within the CT meta. So let's see if whenever the tables turn, if Sojoga can do the same thing.
Well, yeah, that's exactly why perhaps they chose to go with T first. That's okay. If we get anything going, we might as well, but if not, okay, this time the aggressiveness, well, I cannot say just really paying up just yet, but Sojoga at the very least managed to get Silas out of that exchange. Ares and Brett. I mean, Ares is still to that same area. He has been just designated. This designated post has been over there by A. Making sure any sort of attempt has been shut down. Of course, at the moment, Sojoga are not going to be anywhere near that. Trying to make the cheeky plays right here. Swan going to get pushed immediately. He goes for the switch, and Mouth does end up taking him out. So they do get the execute. Now it's time to fend for themselves. PRT spraying down, getting something for himself. And yeah, at that point, late rotation from Harrison Brett. Not going to give them enough time to go for that retake. So it is Sojoga who will get this round, and they can, I mean, they will be happy to get as much as they can from this T side that they find themselves in at the current moment. So we're not going to count them out just yet, and for whom the bell tolls, they say, and the very least for this round is going to be for Sojoga JJ.
Sojoga, who have been doing an excellent job with their offensive whenever they can get onto site, that is, because BHOP has also just been stopping really dry any sort of attempts in general coming from the team in yellow. But within these rounds, I have noticed something, Roy, is that Sojoga, whenever they get the first pick, things generally tend to go within their favor. But mostly, even though sometimes we do see that they get the first pick right there within the area of Banana, sometimes it really goes within the favor of BHOP Esports, and more so because of the consistency for the players to be able to get multi-kills, right? We've seen Beaky, we've seen Swan, Aris right there with his defense, and Silas as well. At least 3 of the players have been able to get multi-kills throughout these rounds, and that speaks a lot more of what they're doing right here. Oh, is that we are seeing a little bit of a decoy. I think that's what we're seeing for the moment. But no, it was actually Landon throwing out all those sniper shots. So we do see him reload. I thought maybe we would be seeing a bit of a more aggressive approach, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. Those shots were really just say like, hey, back off. Back off. Where do you think you guys are going? And then the immediate approach right there with the flash. The Mao just taking a bit of a damage. Yeah, just Silas being able to take him down. The one who was on point doesn't seem to be so anymore. And now Landon on this side, planting the bomb. It seems like Sojoga wants to tie this up the closest that they can.
Finally, another successful execution. Yet another time at B. So some Beaky and the rest of the forces try to make their way through construction. Now, time is of the essence. Landing huge shots, and also the rest of the team follows suit. Look at that. Lighting up the kill feed once again. And Brett gets the frag, but doesn't have enough time. Ooh. So he does get some damage done at the very least. But Sojoga will still get the round. And now we are heading into the last one. Perfect opportunity here for Sojoga to give themselves a better situation before the switch.
Yeah, we did see that he did get the op. Brett was able to get the op as well for Swan, so that's very, very important, as Swan will now just simply go with the full buy. But on the other side, can't say the same thing for the team members. For his team members, you know, Aris and Silas both have just a Deagle and a Dream, as we see here. But a rifle and an SMG right there. The MP9, but just simply throwing out some bullets to see if there's anybody that they can catch off guard. Doesn't seem like that is the case, but positioned very well. That is Silas on the other side. So Mao, just let's see what he has to say about the attempt from BHOP Esports to get some sort of even though he was blinded, not quite hitting the shot. He did not expect Mao to be there either. So this does go 1-1 as Swan also gets a player, which is Landon as well. So good stuff from him. Brett making his way onto the other side, as there seems to be, you know, signs of Sojoga coming onto there, but not quite the case. The smoke dusting out the molly as soon as it can. Now we see somebody trying to go through Haystack. Aris taking down the prime member right here, the initiator once again. And wow, what a simple shutdown on an attempt of an offense coming from BHOP Esports. Sojoga GG did everything within their power, but BHOP was just an impenetrable wall.
At that point, the damage had already been done. You even saw them repositioning very effectively. So So for sure, it was a nice ending there. Adding one more to the board is BHOP. So Sojoga, though, I think they're gonna be feeling a bit more comfortable now that they can defeat this with defense. When they played rather passive a couple of times, where they tried to do so, even in spite of all of that, they were forced to go for some executes there and B. Not real forced, but chose to do so, and it is really what worked the most, at the very least, for the last couple of rounds that they got. Nonetheless, BHOP Esports continues to be at the lead. And so, well, even though they're closer, I wouldn't say that they are out of the woods just yet.
No.
I think Sojoga might have an answer here. This map is far from over. This grand finals is still up for the taking.
And you see, like, the thing is, you want to try to exploit the best that you can whenever you're on the CT side, right? Whenever you're on the CT side, you want to make sure that everything that you can get goes within your favor. And I do see here that Inferno, in regards to BHOP, has a bit of a little bit less than 50% win rate, right? And on the other side, we see that Sojoga has a 60% flat, just a simply flat win rate. So it seems like the fact that they were able to get 6 rounds off of the T side is very important within this map, that people tend to say it's a lot easier to defend than to attack in. So let's see if that is the case, and if that advantage will serve any purpose now that the tables have turned, and it is Sojoga the ones who have been defending. Beforehand, we've seen Sojoga do an excellent job in attacking as well. But whenever the odds aren't really within your favor, especially within this, let's see if BHOP Esports has anything to say about it. Because, of course, BHOP does have to go with a bit more of a... they do have to attack within this, right? So, of course, we do see just Sojoga taking one of them down, and the second one,
man.
The fact that Ares didn't throw a single bullet out was very smart. But the moment that he saw that he wasn't, that there was still a member there, was enough for him to go down. One last member alive left within there, and his right there between first and second, and now the bomb will be defused quite easily, coming from DCT with a lot of time to spare. 10 seconds, that slowly reduce it, countdown to 1, and that's going to be it. Sojoga taking the first game within the CT side, making sure that I don't look like an idiot when I was saying beforehand, you know, the fact that they were defending.
Yeah, it's just not this time, brother. They are telling you, and yeah, no, nice collapse by the end from on the side of Sojoga, of course. Huge to avoid BHOP to get to the 10th round, perhaps. Regain some of that confidence that they had throughout the first half, but it is a different story at this point. Sojoga are inching closer and closer. We're gonna come through the damage is so
wow.
Mouth gonna be flushed out, just straight out of there. Even in spite of that play, the trades still go the way of Sojoga. You seem to know Bananas is still occupied. But look at that, in the same fashion that BHOP put in so much emphasis on sending a couple players down to defend A, same time as well. So I don't know. The time's of the essence right here, as Swan and Beaky. Well, they have to make a decision. Do we push right here? Do we wait ever so slightly? I mean, time running against them at this point. BHOP Esports, if they want to avoid it, Sojoga tying them up, then this next couple of seconds could be very crucial for them.
The clock is ticking. Half of the time that we had for the moment, we should see that at the minute mark, they were just contemplating what they had to do. The fact that they stayed there, now he's alerting his whole team members, hey, the push is over here. The push is over here on this side, and he within a rock and a hard place. 2 terrorists on one front, and then on the other side, you have the Molly just burning you down to a crisp.
Exactly.
Not much that you can do within that situation. So on this side, now we see the T's taking a bit of a stance. The clock is ticking. The bomb is almost 1/3 of the way down, and it seems like Sojoga starting to have a bit of a problem on entry. Not seeing anybody, but Beaky is able to get the double right there with the Galil, and the swapping out immediately for the A1S. BHOP Esports placing themselves farther in within the scoreboard and making sure that the 3 rounds that they got the first round that they had the side switch with stay.
Still manageable for Sojoga. Nonetheless, though, patience pays off there for BHOP, who found themselves down in numbers rather quickly. But in the end, it was the joint effort that really gave them that round. And I mean, you're not only fighting for that glory, you're also fighting for those prizes. So I think they want to take home as much as they can here. Talking about taking home, though, no frags going down just yet. Spotted that, of course. Landing going to be the only one that even has an opportunity to cover those long angles. Of course, let's not disregard the Deagle completely, but versatility is not as much as with the gun power that we see on the side of BHOP, which has finally shown itself as PRT is no more. And here, Control Banana completely stacked the entirety of BHOP. Gotta go for the push right here. Malza getting more than one frag before bowing out.
And right there, just Tadison peeking in, saying, "Go pillow," and then just taking one of them out. On the other side, we see the gun down coming from Tadison, stopping them from the plant. And they're doing an excellent job as DCT is able to take Eris. However, the retaliation right there from Brett. On the other side, we do see the scout. But the fact that he had a height advantage, now Landon knows where he is because he did see him. And now, yep. Sojoga being able to force him into a difficult situation. He did get sandwiched right there. And Sojoga still inching closer once again to that, to the same score coming from the team in yellow, at least for this moment, which is BHOP. And this is interesting to see them go within a seesaw fashion, like one for you, one for me, one for you, one for me. Let's see if BHOP can follow this pattern as well, because if that is the case, if this continues to go the way that BHOP, within this, BHOP will eventually win because of the advantage that they had within the half. But of course, Sojoga has something to say about that, as we do see a bit of an approach. The aggressiveness that happens whenever somebody has an eco round is unparalleled, my friend. And let's see right here, Tadison just waiting with the FAMAS on the other side. However, Beaky got a cheat and said, "You know what? I don't want to play this anymore," and then just runs towards the other side.
He was like, "No, I don't think I will.
I don't want my legs blown out. Not today.
I don't think I will." So bowing out, very wisely so. Of course, trying to avoid any further damage. And you were mentioning how well BHOP could play this trade game, and perhaps I think that if they manage to establish a couple of rounds further down the line as a lead, they could do so. However, Sojoga is amounting to exactly the opposite of that, as they will get themselves within arm's reach. Just one round separating them. First half, of course, was a bit more on the side of BHOP Esports. Sojoga, there's reason they chose T first, and now, well, will they tie things up here? Super crucial round, momentum shifter for these teams' potential.
Hopefully so, and we do see that they are going ever so aggressive with the anti-eco strat. They noticed that they were down
Yep.
on, just down on the money side. And they said, yeah, you know what? You guys want to rush us? Nah, let's go with the aggressiveness that is very characteristic of the Brazilian team. And we do see that one member left alive. And the moment that his little head peeks out from there, from balcony, that's going to be it. So Sojoga tying things up to the T. And that is going towards their favor. That round was very important for them. And the fact that they opted and they chose to go with a more aggressive push was everything that they needed in order to stop them. Very, very nice stuff all around.
And now comes the real momentum swinger right here. The tie was... I don't want to say it was a guarantee because of the difference. However, because of the save, of course, but now it's really where Sojoga could lay in the hurt. Let him know this is our turf, and we are not willing to give it up. They can still, of course, shut something down. DCT, yet again, being so deadly. Will get 3 Tedison, of course. A couple more as well. Beaky gonna let DCT, we're gonna help DCT bow out of the round, but didn't amount to much. So Sojoga now on the lead. The Brazilians looking to claim this entire map. Of course, 5 more. And BHOP still not down in the dumps. But things could get very dangerous if Sojoga start to snowball. Problem is, of course, they don't have more of a cushion. Like, that 15 ever comes to the scoreboard on the side of Sojoga. The best that they could hope is to clutch up in the overtime. Because, of course, no further maps. This is it. Dio single elimination is like that. Of course, they did have a chance, and they managed to get the opening map. Oh, the offense amounting to something right there. However, some great shots from DCT.
And right there, just at least one more member on site, and Sojoga denies any sort of push coming right there from just in general from Porsche. They were just simply waterfalling onto there, and they did trade on a couple of occasions, but it more so did go on Sojoga's side. And even though BHOP Esports weren't doing so good with their economy, they did try. They were able to just simply refrag, right? Just get the trades. So that's good on them. But the thing is, just the firepower was ever so evident right there. The fact that they were players that were able to get 2 kills, and not just one, but 2 off of just like stray interactions with the util whenever they were blinded and things like that. That's important. Now that BHOP did have a full buy within this situation, we do see PRT just smuggle himself back into the site as the Flash, and sort of I would say that it intimidated him, because you never know when somebody's going to peek right there, especially because the banana control that they're having isn't as well, not as well, isn't as positioned very well within this area right here. But Silas saying, what type of positioning do you need, bro? I just got naded twice and I'm almost gone now.
Mans was getting nuked out of existence, holding on for dear life though, as BHOP Esports will still keep their roster, perhaps not intact, but at the very least in full numbers. Right on a huge frag right there. And one man to try to stop them. Tedison gets 1 at the very least, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Of course, Landon, knowing the situation, he is right out of there. He doesn't try to engage. His hunting time gonna come in a few seconds here for BHOP Esports. Still within 1 round, they're gonna keep themselves here from Sojoga. So this is looking to be a very close end game for both of these teams. Of course, really BHOP in a dire need of that victory right there. On the other hand, let's see if they can bring in hurt on the side of Sojoga, which, I mean, they've been playing lights out so far. They're trying to get that reverse 2-0 in the entire match of the series. Could end up with a bang right here. 11-12, Dio.
11-12, no more matching numbers as BHOP Esports is one away from tying things up. However, not quite the case. After all, I do see that they are playing ever so magnificently, but I can't really stop and think the nerves from this being the grand finals maybe getting to them, because on the other side, we do see that even there is a lot of util being thrown down, banana, and, you know, just simply getting people out of like logs and that area within the back that used to be car, things like that. Like all those type of things is where I tend to say like, okay, like for example, they're not playing for banana control. They're actually repelling the players from getting in within banana, but they don't want to control it themselves. And obviously that is the case, and it benefits them more because the T's, and they want to capture this area right here within the map. But on the other side, CT was within the bit of a stronghold within the site, a bit more of a secure area, one would dare say, right? So on this side, we do see here that we might be getting the first interaction, and we do get the first one, along with DCT and Landon taking Brett and Errors respectively. And it seems like the AUG on PRT's hands. We've seen him before with this weapon, and it does wonders. But now he did drop down up on top of first, and now what will he do? He does have Swan with an op, so the moment that he's seen, he may be going down. Yep, the AUG bullets fly true directly into Silas, and Swan has to make the retreat at this point. He does not want to lose that op because he knows that weapon is ever so deadly, and he has to simply just to keep it next round if they are to win. Well, at this point, it seems like he is going on to the other side to a plant. I was just about to say like, oh no, he's gonna. I thought he was maybe going to save or something like that, but it seems like he's going to use the op in a more aggressive manner. But on this side, we do see that everybody is coming from Arch, and they were able to hear something. Let's see if they commit to taking him down first, and rather than planting. But Swan is able to take Landon, and there will be somebody placed to defuse. But the thing is, it's placed very well. It's placed within the edge, and he does have only one more bullet to spare. But the barrel is able to be seen, and now the kit is on deck. So 5 seconds on the clock. Doesn't seem like he's going to go for it. He rather say, you know what? He was just doing an excellent job. Swan was able to tie things up for his team, and that's it. That's it. Tied up once again. These teams are going neck and neck, trying to get to the 16 first. But BHOP says, no. You guys thought that you had the advantage. We've done it once. We'll do it again, where we tie things up. And the tactical pause.
Oh, man, it cannot be underestimated just how big Swan went for his team, even though he did end up losing his life. Buying enough time for that bomb to go off and hitting the shots whenever they need him the most. Of course, they're Sojoga getting a bit too aggressive. They're going to pay the price. Even if Tedison manages to shut him down, he didn't have enough time to go for defuse. So it is a very, very important round right here as we are in the closing parts of this second half. And whoever takes it, well, they get the glory, they get that first place, and some sweet, sweet prize to go along. Let me tell you that much. In fact, BHOP Esports are refusing to bow down, even in spite of being down for a couple of rounds. I mean, the mentality's still right there, and they are still fighting it.
Now, Landon is able to get at least Beaky beforehand. And on the other side, we do see Silas take PRT down. But the thing is, it becomes very difficult because then now you reveal your location. You don't know exactly where it is. But Brett jumping out of the smoke and taking Landon by surprise as he guns him down. Not quite much left. The bomb is now planted. Brett taking a hefty blow, but not quite enough to take him down. And we do see Sojoga not necessarily committing to it. On the contrary, they're actually going to get out of there. Actually going to get out of there because no, the economy really isn't on their side. So smart play right here, retreating towards the A sites where there is nobody, at least what they're seeing right here. Just a last bit of util being thrown out to make sure and ensure that everybody is out of there and that nobody's going to try to do pull a quick one or a fast one and then try to get a bit of a diffuse while they're gone or anything like that. Especially now that there's no more time. Everybody retreats into banana, taking not too much damage, not enough to kill Brett, which is the lowest one. And now we're going into the 26th round. BHOP Esports finally reclaiming the lead within the scoreboard, but will they be able to take the game? That is a question that Sojoga is asking themselves, which is why another tactical pause, but this time on behalf of the Brazilians.
Of course, I mean, are they going to play the long con right here? As they are not yet forced to do so, however. Yet again. Every time, Dio. Every time.
Dude, it's a chicken. What do you want me?
What matters most here is the game plan. The game plan for Sojoga, really, what is the shakeup that they have to bring forth?
I love production, bro. I am loving production at this point.
What is really the Brazilian team gonna bring forth? They've been looking so dominant throughout the entirety of this first online series, and finally somebody rising to the challenge BHOP Esports, who we were expecting them, we were expecting to give them a challenge, really. And they've been showing up in spades. BHOP, of course, even though they cannot celebrate just yet, that lead not too wide at this point. You're gonna have to be extremely careful, and of course they are forced to go for those executes. So in the end, Sojoga can still play a bit more chill in that pace, and we've seen them be aggressive when they need to do so. This time around, though, is a waiting game for the Brazilian team.
Yep, and it seems like they are rotating near middle to see if there's anybody that they can catch, maybe coming from the A sites. But now, one of them did go back, and it is Silas. On that side, maybe trying to go with a bit of a fake right there, going for that smoke, trying to make sure that there's nobody that can cover that angle off of backside. But the smoke right there from mid dissipates, and now trying to see if they can get any sort of pick, right? Trying to see if there's any sort of pick that they can get that will place them within a numerical advantage, especially now that Eris is going through long haul, trying to get a bit more of information. On the other side, we do see Beaky, but the first kill will go to land in. Now, landing that shot on Beaky, but Brett is able to take him down, so no more sniper, no more op right here. Brett with the retaliation. No, I thought that we was going to maybe escape with this life, but not quite the case. Swan on the other side. An equal trade right there. But right here, planting the bomb. And on the other side, we do see Eris holding that angle for his teammates. PRT has to commit towards this side, but no, at this point, he's just stalling for a little bit of time in order for Mao to get onto site as well and maybe provide some backup fire.
PRT gonna be crucial right there. Mouth getting the better of Swan at that point, and they will go in for the final tab as the defuse comes through. Yet again, an even situation. Gonna go back and forth down to the wire. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if we got to see an overtime. But nonetheless, the Brazilian team refuses to let go, refuses to let BHOP Esports go straight, jump into the lead much further ahead. They're like, no, we are right here. And W is still up for the taking, so
wow.
We get to watch some replays, some time to rewind for us. Remember some of the great stuff that has already been through, as we are currently 13 and 13 in the scoreboard, so it has definitely been a close one, and what a way to finish these grand finals.
And that's exactly why these teams are trying so hard as well to get that W, because this is the grand finals, and not only that, you will be securing a spot within the studio grand finals as well. So let's see what these teams have to say about it as we go within a seesaw fashion. Like I said, back and forth. And now we see Silas trying to spam through the smoke, trying to see if there's anybody he can get, trying to maybe catch himself or place himself within a situation that isn't as favorable for them, trying to catch them off guard or something like that, but not quite the case as the smoke flies once more. And maybe not the most beneficial smoke for him. However, it ensures that nobody has passed through this area right here, this choke point that is banana at all. So a very, very good smoke overall. But the thing is, now he is the one that is smoked off and cannot hold that angle. At least we are talking about Landon, of course. But still, they have to, right there, seeing where he can get somebody on the other side. We do have a double op situation, and it is Mouth, the one who retreats back onto site and tells everyone, like, hey, I think I need a little bit of backup. But it seems like they are going to bait the fact that they try to rush in, and they are going back to the other side. But it doesn't seem like Sojoga actually took the bait. We still have 4 members stuck on site.
Exactly that. However, Util is going to be thrown up. They're gonna try and push through. Landing, getting beaky. Red with some excellent shots as well. Trades come through back and forth. Now it's all up to Mouth, as Ares is gonna be able to provide that covering fire. Nate comes through, some damage onto Swan, so it's really all up to the man, and was forced to retreat a bit earlier. Just pre-firing right there. Tries to poke around the corner. Difficult situation here for the Brazilian, and indeed Swan is still hitting these shots when his team requires him to do so the most. BHOP, even though, of course, Sojoga didn't fall, and they held the line. They stayed towards A in the end. Oh, that was an amazing flick right there as well. Let's not underestimate that from Landing. However, in the end, it didn't give Sojoga any better of a fighting chance, as BHOP completely denying them at that point. Getting yet another execute, and so, well, BHOP Esports are 2 away, really. Sojoga, they are at the point where they cannot let things slip out of their fingers, or it is going to be an overtime situation for them.
Or worst case scenario, it could even be curtains, because, you know, still, you have to assure that 15 in order to, like, secure an overtime. And now we are seeing that everybody from BHOP Esports is stacking onto Banana, trying to see if there's anybody that they can catch, maybe within an off position, so they can force that 15. And you know that whenever that specific number of round comes in, it will be very difficult. But with the double smoke, okay, making sure that nobody has any sort of idea to get on to the site. And at this point, it seems like they still have enough time in case they want to. But on the other side, we do see DCT very well positioned in order to get maybe a bit of a flank in case somebody tried to do so. But Ares as well, doing an excellent job. Man. But on the side of the CTs, we do see Landon with a double. And the thing is, both of them try to get a little bit of a cover fire, and that is going to be all she wrote. DCT with the flank doing an excellent job. But on the other side, what can they do to secure this round? At least Beaky has to know where to plant and what time to plant. And if he is able to, I was just about to say, not quite the kill, but he was about to do so. He was on the verge of securing that 15th round for his team. But Sojoga, 14-14, they're still alive. They're still kicking and saying these grand finals and the prize belong with us.
Dan, that was such a crucial round yet again. Not only because they were a bit down on the firepower side, but also because Like that exact situation that we've been talking through and through. Trying to avoid that overtime, of course. A bit less stress for them. But now Sojoga have put themselves in prime position to get this end game just the way that they want it. Technical boss is going to be spent yet again. I think the Brazilian team are looking to close things out right here. Of course, they still need a couple more rounds to go, but it's the exact same their position here for BHOP. On the other hand, so who will take it, Dio? Who really has the steel? Who has the ice? I should say, to keep cool, calm, and collected. In such a situation, these grand finals have been, I'm sure, nerve-wracking for both squads. So really, it is gonna come down to that mental fortitude in the end. And let's not forget that, well, economy is that round, at the very least for this time around, BHOP elected to go with a bit cheaper of a setup. Not a less effective one, though, and a very aggressive push into A. Right there, Dio. Right there.
You beat me to it, to mentioning it as well. Yes, it seems like Sojoga has to ensure this round for themselves as assistant Nico. And he was still peeking, trying to see if there's anybody left. Seems like he didn't really notice that was the last man alive. And Sojoga now will make sure that this round, well, BHOP Esports did go with the eco to ensure that the last round fought is a full buy, of course. And Sojoga now has everything within their hands to make this round theirs, but BHOP as well, armed to the teeth to counteract that. And you see, the thing is, within this type of situations, you're one round away from assuring that these grand finals go within your favor. The other team has everything to lose, which is BHOP Esports, if they don't lose this round. Of course, second place is an excellent placing, but you know what to say. A second place is the worst position sometimes because it means that you're the first loser. But let's see what they have to say about this. Both of them within a 1-1 situation. We may be looking at either overtime or the king of the CCTNA first series.
Yeah, it's the crown is up for the taking. I think Sojoga with the strongest claim right now. But this is what BHOP Esports were playing for. The long game in the end.
Landon, look at Landon, my friend. He's down to 4 HP.
Yeah, that is a huge blow to take on if you are Sojoga, if you are trying to get that 16 on the score. So I was going to go make it through. Aries is going to get him shut down. Tedison getting a trade as well. Huge frag onto Bread. The damage has been done, and Landing is still holding on for dear life, of course. But so far, A heavily contested at this point. These next couple of shots are going to be crucial. As Swan is going to head and go in for plant. Side has been taken, so it is Sojoga's moment to answer. Will we get the Brazilian W, or will we go into overtime? That is a huge question right here.
No more frags, only a flash, and that's the last one being used for the moment. Nobody on site. The molly goes through. Mouth is getting burned down ever so slightly, but right there, God, he's able to get to the last man alive is Beacon. They are looking for him. The nose scoop, not going to kill him, but he's able to get to the fuse. Please, this is going to be a nail biter. This is going to be a nail biter. Is it going to be it? Yes, he's able to get to the fuse. Sojoga GG, able to get to the fuse just in the nick of time. Somebody catch that on camera because this was one hell of a photo finish. Sojoga GG making sure that the title, the grand finals, and the first series goes straight to Brazil.